What's up folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel Code to Create. In this series we're going to create a web app that predicts forest fire, if the flower is iris flower or not, if the object is glass or not, and if the patient is cancer patient or not, if the patient is diabetes patient or not, and if the patient is heart patient or not. In today's video we're going to see how to predict the forest fire, and also we're going to see how to predict the heart disease risk. So let's get started. Let me move up to my spider and I'm going to create a new file. So let's get started by predicting heart disease and then let's move to forest fire. First, I'm going to import the necessary libraries. They're going to be pandas. I'm going to import pandas as PD and then it's going to be numpy. So I'm going to say import numpy as np. I'm going to import numpy as np and then I'm going to import joblib for dumping it up. So I'm going to say import joblib. And then I'm going to import sgd classify. So let me say from sklearn.linearModel import sgd classifier, and then I'm going to import standard scaler and then a cross validator. So let me do them. I'm going to say from sklearn.preprocessing import standard scaler, standard scaler, and then I have to import cross validation. So I'm going to say from sklearn.model_selection import cross validate, and then I'm going to import warnings and I'm going to say warnings.filter warning. I'm going to filter all this up, filter these warnings up, and I'm going to let me put what are we supposed to do. So I'm going to ignore this warning and the category is going to be off, and category is going to be of future warning. Yes, it's gonna be category. Oh, okay, we don't need this. Yes, and then we have to read the data set. So I'm gonna say data is equal to pd.read_csv, and let me move out to my files and open the directory where I've put the data set. So before entering the data set, let me show you guys the data set. So these are all the features, that's age, their gender, their chest pain type, and all these things. Now let me go and show you guys the forest fire, their area, the oxygen, the temperature, humidity, and fire occurrence, how many times the fire has occurred, the humidity, the temperature, oxygen, and the area. So let's move back to spider and let me read this data set up. So let me copy this. Yes, slash, this is going to be of heart.csv. Yes. And then I'm going to drop this FBS, CA, cholesterol and everything. So let me say data is equal to data.drop, and I'm going to set the access to 1 but not in place to true. So I'm going to say data.drop. I'm going to drop the FBS and I'm going to set the access to 1. Oh, sorry. I'm going to set the access to 1. Comma access is equal to 1. Yes, and then I'm going to say data is equal to drop. I'm going to drop this CA to, I'm going to set the access to 1. Oh, sorry, I'm going to set the access to 1. Okay, there's an error, unexpected EON. Data is equal to drop. We have this. Data.drop, comma, access is equal to 1. It's the error. Undefined name drop. Oh yeah, sorry. Data.drop. Yes. And I'm going to drop the cholesterol too. So I'm going to say data is equal to data.drop. And then I'm going to get the log of cholesterol. So I'm going to say data of, cholesterol. Sorry, it's in lowercase. So cholesterol is equal to np.log, and that's why we have imported numpy for all these calculations. So I'm going to say np.log of data and I'm going to get the log of cholesterol. And then I'm going to set the target of it. So I'm going to say data is equal to data of target get Okay, invalid syntax. It's gonna become right. It's fine. And then I'm gonna shuffle this data up. So I'm gonna say np.random.shuffle data.values. I'm gonna shuffle up their values, and I'm just gonna randomly shuffle up their values, and then I'm gonna say data is equal to data.drop. Again the same mistake. Data.drop. I'm gonna drop up the target as I've stored it inside the target variable already. So I'm gonna say data.drop target, and I'm gonna set this access to 1. And now we're gonna use the standard scalar and cross validation. Let's do the cross validation, and then I'm gonna use this standard scalar. So I'm gonna say SC is equal to standard scalar. Oh, it's not giving me a drop down. Okay, let's make it right. Standard scalar, yes. Undefined name access. Okay, just ignore it. And then I'm gonna say data is equal to, I'm gonna fit this up inside the standard scalar. So I'm gonna say sc.fit, because I have stored this standard scalar inside this sc. So I'm gonna say sc.fit underscore transform. I'm gonna transform this data, and then I'm gonna store this up. So I'm gonna say model2 is equal to sgd classifier. I'm gonna store this up here. I'm gonna say loss is equal to hinge, and it doesn't support penalty. This version of Python doesn't support. The Python 3.8 doesn't support penalty, so I'm gonna directly move up to max iteration. I'm gonna set this max iteration to 7. Yes. And then I'm gonna say model2.fit. I'm gonna fit up this 2. I'm gonna fit up target 2, but data, comma target. Yes. And then I'm gonna say CV underscore results is equal to cross validate. I'm gonna cross validate whatever results I've got. Underscore validate. Cross underscore validate. I'm gonna put up the model 2 that we have just fitted. And then I'm gonna put the data, and then the target, and then I'm gonna put the CV number to 10. Okay, undefined name. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, it's low. And then I'm gonna say joblib.dump. I'm gonna dump up this model 2, and I'm gonna save this as model 2 in my files. So me run this. Yes. It's gonna keep running. So yes, we have no errors over here. You can see we have no errors. No. So yeah, you can see we have no errors over here. So let's move to forest fire and begin the forest fire code. First, let me delete up this many lines. Yes, and then I'm gonna import. I'm gonna import numpy as np, and then I'm gonna import pandas as pd, and then from linear, and then I'm gonna import logistic regression. So I'm gonna say and then I'm gonna import logistic regression. So I'm gonna say from sklearn.linear model import logistic regression. And then I have to import the train test split. So I'm going to say from sklearn.model selection import train test split. Yes. And then I'm going to import this warnings. And then I'm going to import warnings. So let me say import warnings. And then I'm going to import joblib. Let me import warnings. And then I'm going to import pickle. So I'm going to say import pickle. Yes. And then I have to set the warnings. I have to filter those warnings. So I'm going to say warnings.filter warnings. Filter warnings. Yes. And here I'm going to ignore these warnings. I didn't put any type of warnings that I have to ignore. And then I'm going to read the data set. So I'm going to say data is equal to, data is equal to pd dot read underscore csv. And let me move up to my file, copy this up, slash, slash, yes, I hope you guys can see now, slash forest fire, forest fire.csv. Yes. And then I'm going to say data is equal to np.array. I'm going to get the array of data. I'm going to convert this complete data into an array for fitting it up. And then I have to set the x and y values. So I'm going to say x is equal to data of. I'm going to get the columns. And these. Yes. I want to get the. I'm going to set the x value as the. So in the x value, I'm going to get the columns and rows, how many ever columns I want, how many ever rows I want, and then I'm going to set the y to data of columns and rows, the first one and the last one. Yes. And then I'm going to say x is equal to, and then I'm going to say x. And then I'm going to say y is equal to y dot as type. I'm going to set this y to an integer and the same to x. And so let me do this. And then x and x. And then I have to do the train test split. So I'm going to say x underscore train, comma x underscore test, comma y underscore train, comma y underscore test is equal to train test split. Train test split of x and y, and I'm gonna don't forget the test size. So I'm gonna set the test size to 0.3, that's 30, and the random state to 0. Yes. And then I'm going to say this log regression is equal to logistic regression. So I'm going to say log reg is equal to logistic regression. Yes. And then I have to fit this x train and y train. So I'm going to say log reg dot fit x train comma y train. And then I'm going to set the input. We need the input. So I'm going to say input is equal to, input. Okay, let's put double T's as input is a defined feature already. So I'm going to say input is equal to, it's going to be an integer. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be an integer of x. It's a for loop now. I'm going to say for x in 45, 32 and 60. I'm going to split up these numbers. So I'm going to say dot split. I'm going to split them up with this single quote. And then I'm going to say final is equal to, I'm going to say np.array. So I'm going to get the array and I'm going to get the array of the input. So I'm going to say input. Remember to put double T's. I was going to show an error as it's a predefined feature already. And then I'm going to say b is equal to log regression. That's going to be logistic regression dot predict. I'm going to predict the probability. So I'm going to say predict proba. And I'm going to put the x value. That's going to be final. And then whatever I did, I'm going to dump this up. So I'm going to say pickle.dump log regression, comma, open. I'm going to open up this model 4.pkl, So I've already 4.pkn in the form of wb. Yes. And then I'm gonna say model 4 is equal to pickle.load open. I'm gonna open up this model 4 now. So I'm gonna say model 4.pkl. Model 4 is already defined. Model 4.pkl comma rb. And you can see it has no errors, so let's save this up. Yes, guys, now we know how to predict the heart disease and forest fire. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you guys. Please do like, share, subscribe and comment below. Bye bye.